Welcome to Voice Terms Dictionary by Franco Tenelli. Today's subject is vocal range. Vocal range. Sometimes range is understood as two marginal points between the lowest note singers can sing and the highest note singers can produce, regardless of the consistency of this production. This has nothing to do with the professional understanding of the vocal range. Let's talk about vocal range in terms of the consistent voice instrument. Before defining a vocal range, let's first understand the most important way of the voice production: falsetto and chiaro scuro. Falsetto itself has two types: low, crooning falsetto, you my everything, like in singing jazz, or early shown high falsetto, or head voice. As opposite to chiaro scuro production, these two types of voice production have one thing in common, and that is partial vibration of the vocal cords. First type of a chest falsetto or crooning falsetto, vocal cords are vibrating in full length but not closing up. In a second type, vocal cords are not vibrating in full length, but at a certain range they surely can close up, and that usually happens at passaggio and higher zones. Falsetto singer can achieve an amazing results in his range. 3.5 octaves, like in this example, or even wider. Chiaro scuro is limited in the range in comparison to falsetto type of singing. Chiaro scuro range is limited in around 2 octaves, and it never comes wider than a 2.5 octaves in phenomenal cases. I repeat, I'm talking about consistent chiaro scuro voice production. Some Rossini tenors, for example, claim to have 2.5 octaves range, but that's a great misunderstanding of the Rossini tenor range. We somehow assume that the tenor's range, no matter what type of tenor it is, lies in a low C below middle C. But if you examine carefully their voices, you will realize that the lowest point of engagement of chiaro scuro they have is not below F or G below middle C, and that's what gives us a wrong assumption. So let's consider true vocal range through consistency of the voice timbre and power. Famous singer Ima Sumac was able to achieve 4.5 octaves, of course singing into the microphone. Jazz singer Bobby McFerrin, famous for his "Don't Worry, Be Happy," also has very wide range, and of course that achieved by using falsetto type of technique. Falsetto comes from Italian word false. This type of voices were never seriously considered before invention of the microphones. They were simply meant to entertain small group of people in small rooms. If you look at the history of the vocal art, even the most early blues and jazz singers were using elements of chiaro scuro in order to project, because they didn't have microphones available at them. Now, after hearing all this information, I'll give you a definition of the true vocal range. True vocal range is the distance before lowest and the highest notes singer can produce in consistent timbre and power, whether it's falsetto type or classical chiaro scuro type. And I repeat that vocal range is not the highest and lowest notes one can sing, disregarding voice consistency. This was Voice Terms Dictionary by Franco Tenelli. Look also for upcoming definition of a classical tessitura.